Hi there, Loy Machedo speaking to you from loymachedo.com and Loy Machedo TV. Today's book review is by Michael Shermer. That is Why People Believe Weird Things. Now, who is Michael Shermer? Well, he is the founder and the editor-in-chief of Skeptic magazine. That is www.skeptic.com. Now, he's also the director of the Skeptic Society. Now, what exactly is the Skeptic Society? They are people who don't believe in just about anything and everything unless, and of course, you can prove it. So it's really worthwhile to visit their website. Now, how did I come to know of Michael Shermer? I happened to watch this video on YouTube, which was Michael Shermer and Sam Harris on one side versus Deepak Chopra and Gene Houston on the other side. And the topic was the future of God. Now, obviously, Sam Harris being an atheist and Michael Shermer a skeptic, they didn't believe that there was a future. And Deepak Chopra, with all his wonderful woo-woo sounding words and scientific jargons, which he mixed and matched to suit him and his beliefs, along with Gene Houston, who was kind of placid and wasn't actually very aggressive. They tried to, debate with one another. But what impressed me was Deepak Chopra, who came across as a cool, calm, and composed person, was absolutely smashed and he was totally destroyed. So if you really want to get impressed, watch The Future of God, Sam Harris and Michael Shermer versus Deepak Chopra and Gene Houston. Now, that is, Michael Shermer has authored many books. That is Why People Believe Weird Things, How We Believe, and Denying History with Alex Grobman. So he has written these books, and let me tell you that this book by itself is a really heavy-duty, intensely focused, powerful book on critical thinking. Now, a background about Michael Shermer. He was, this is the part that is interesting. He was born-again Christian. For 7 years, he actually evangelized door to door. Can you believe this? The guy who is today a skeptic was once upon a time a fundamentalist Christian. Now, he believed in the Word of God. He believed in the Bible. Then later on, he even tried different other so-called myths and practices like acupuncture, chiropractic, massage therapy, negative eons, Rolfing, pyramid power, fundamental Christianity, and so on. He tried literally everything to see, does it work, does it not work? And finally, he became a skeptic when he realized all of them was nothing but bogus. So in this book, there are 5 chapters. The 5 chapters are, let me see if I can get it quickly. Yes, the 5 chapters are Part 1, Science and Skepticism. Part 2, Pseudoscience and Superstition. Part 3, Evolution and Creationism. Part 4, History and Pseudohistory. And Part 5, Hope Springs Eternal. Now, let me tell you as to what did I like about this book. Okay. Now, this book actually focuses on religious claims, the paranormal, near-death experiences, alien abductions. And by the way, did you know that Ayn Rand was a cult group? I never knew that, actually. He also focuses on witch, craze, cult groups, and he moves into a logical progression and finally comes out with absolute hardcore, intricately done reality and explaining with logic as to what is happening. So, what did I like about this book? The first and foremost is Michael Shermer is a very deep individual. You really have to be impressed with the amount of knowledge, the amount of research, and the amount of contribution that he has put into this book. This book by no means is light reading. It's very, very heavy, very powerful, and very beautifully done. I would say he explains, explores, and elaborates everything powerfully well. Then the second part is what I really liked was the chapter which he spoke. Which chapter was this? Chapter 3. Yes, chapter 3, where he speaks about how thinking goes wrong and the 25 fallacies. Yes, here it is. I mean, I was baffled by this. Here's the chapter, how thinking goes wrong. Now, what he has done in this chapter is he has clearly analyzed and put on a very detailed level as to how do we actually think and the different styles of thinking. And you will really, really get impressed. If there's one chapter that gives you the value for money, it would be this chapter. I read it at least 3 times and I want to read it again. And finally, what I felt this book really does is it exposes as to how much we need to learn, how much we do not know, and how much we feel that we know. And he clearly explains the unthinkable. I mean, I was really impressed. Now, the criticisms for this book, although I don't want to criticize Michael Shermer because I'm a fan of his, I would say I have two criticisms. The first one is the second part of this book speaks on the Holocaust. Now, I think maybe because he's Jew, I'm not too sure, but because of many Jews in the United States, and there's so much of uh, importance given to the Jewish culture and the Holocaust. It happened, not happened. So he dedicated a huge portion of the book to the Holocaust, which I felt should have been another book. So I really got bored of this chapter. This is one of the only chapters I did not want to read. I really struggled, and then I gave up. So, but he has really put a lot of research. The second part is, this book is not light reading. It took me quite some time to read this book, and I was many a times tired. I had to go back, read it after some time. So this is not one of those easy books that you would want to read. So, okay, just to give you an example, all right? Just to give you an example as to why it is so difficult. Check this out. Attrition bias versus confirmation bias. Now, attrition bias is when someone likes to believe, let's say, things about his religion and all the examples that suit his religion, but he will not believe the same when it speaks on someone else's religion. That is why they say, my religion is true, but your religion is false, even though the same examples can be used. Then confirmation bias that he speaks about is confirmation bias, where we tend to have this subconscious mind where we filter things. Let's say, for example, you prayed for someone and he got well, you'd say, yes, God is listening to my prayers. And you pray for someone, he doesn't get well, then you say that God is testing him, or God will give it to him at the right time. So in either way, either or whatever the person wants to believe is actually correct. So it was attrition bias, not belief. Attrition bias versus confirmation bias. So this is just two examples. Now just multiply this another 100 times more in different concepts. I mean, that's quite a lot of heavy duty. So now, the moment of truth. Would I recommend this book? Absolutely yes. I think you need to buy this book. You need to study it. You need to keep it. In fact, this is a book that goes into those parts of the shelves where you need to pull the book again, underline it word for word, read it once again, and learn and grow. So this book is an absolute gift. If someone had given me this book many years ago, I do not know. Maybe I'd been at a different level. The book is absolutely fantastic. I recommend it highly, and it is part of critical thinking. So how would I rate it? I would say 8 out of 10. And I would tell people, think twice before buying this book, because this is not one of those casual reads, easy, fun. It's something really deep and very intense. I really love this book, and I became a fan of Michael Shermer, and I respect him even more. Thank you very much for watching. This is Loy Machedo speaking to you from loymachedo.com and Loy Machedo TV with the analysis of the book, that is Why People Believe Weird Things, and that is by Michael Shermer.